Hey guys, let's talk about what we're reading in July. Hey everyone, it's Mary. Welcome back to my channel, and today we're going to talk about what I'm reading for the month of July, my TBR. I know this was requested by some people because they said it would help them be able to read along with me more. So I'm going to try to do that and let you guys know. So if you want to read what I'm reading and talk about them later, we can. Also, if you hear rattling in the background or huffing and puffing, that is my puppy who is trying to take a nap on mommy's bed. He is not happy that mommy is in the room recording a video while he's trying to sleep. There's my Rudy. He's not impressed. Oh, poor baby. I know. Okay, let's talk about some of the books I have on my TBR. So some of these books are new, and some of these books are actually books I've started but not finished. I'll explain when I get there. The very first book on my list is The Authenticity Project by Claire Pooley. This is actually a book club for my work read. We have already read the first 20 chapters because it's actually the July books. We had to read the first 20 chapters, and then we have to read basically the rest of the book almost by the next meeting. So far it's really good. I think this one came out, I don't know when this came out, but I remember it being talked about quite a bit back when it first came out. And so far, what I get from it is there's this green notebook that gets left behind on a table, and someone picks it up and reads it, and then the notebook just kind of gets passed around to other people, and the notebook connects them all and tells the life story of the person who started the notebook, which was Julian, who's an artist. So far it's really good. Not a romance book, as you can tell. It is just a regular fiction book. I really like it so far, and this is a book club book. So if you're not a person who likes a lot of romance, this is actually a really good book, and I'm enjoying it so far. The next book on my list is Stealing the Preacher by Karen Wittemeyer. I know I talked about the first book in this series during one of my wrap-ups. This was recommended to me by Lindsay from Books for Christian Girls. She has a Christian booktube channel and also a blog. It's more geared towards girls that are a lot younger than me, but she has some really good recommendations for Christian romance. And so I picked up some of the books that she recommended. This was one of the authors. So far, I really like the first book, and I got maybe 2 chapters in, I think. How many chapters in am I? Yeah, about 3 chapters into this book, and I put it down and I just never picked it back up. So I really like it so far for the couple chapters I've read, but that's all I've read. So basically the book started off with a preacher who was traveling on a train to go to the new church that he's been hired to preach at, to be the pastor of, and he gets kidnapped. And that's where I was left. So why was he kidnapped? How was the girl involved? Don't know. Didn't get there so far. But I would like to finish it because I did like the start of it, and I really liked the first book. But like I said, life just got busy and I just kind of put it down. So I need to finish it. The next book on my list is Fever by Maya Banks. This is the second book of the... Is it the Breathless trilogy? The Breathless trilogy. I have all 3 books. I read the first one, which is Rush, a few months ago, and I really liked it. It was a reread that I started it, I DNF'd it, and then it was recommended by, was it Taji? Might be wrong, to, hey, give it a second try. So I did and really loved it. So this is the second book. I actually got quite a ways through this book. Yeah, I'm about halfway through. I mean, I'm a little less than halfway through this book, and then life got busy and I just kind of stopped reading it. But this is the 3 friends, Jace, Ash, and Gabe, who are successful business partners. The first book was it Ash? I can't remember. It's been so long since I read it. I have the wrong one. But one of them Jace is this book, so it's not Jace. I think it's Ash. I might be wrong. Anyway, the first book was one of the guys marrying Jace's little sister, and this is now Jace's story. And then the last one will obviously be the third guy's story. So, I mean, it's a little more graphic than I like things to be, but I like the storyline so far. But I got about halfway through and just kind of hung it up. So, that's that. All right. The next book I'm going to read is the one ebook I have on my TBR, and that is this one. This is Crazed by Maggie Cole. I will talk a little bit about my, I'm going to call it my quarter 2 wrap up, since I didn't do month by month. But I don't love this new New York Mafia series quite as much as I hoped I would. I loved the Irish and Russian kind of spin that she had on her Mafia Wars series. This one I'm not getting into quite as much because I'll be honest with you, there's some kinky stuff going on in these books that I just can't get down with. The first couple books of the Mafia Wars series were fine. Towards the middle to end of that series, she's starting hitting more of this like BDSM, daddy kink, weird like sexual stuff that like is hard to skip through because the books became very sexual and not plot oriented. And I definitely feel like this series is kind of going that way. So I'm going to try the third book, but honestly, if this third book is like a little too much for me, I might be done with the New York Mafia series because it was uncomfortable. The first couple books were uncomfortable. So I'm going to try Crazed. We're going to see how it turns out. If it's weird or if it's a little too like sexual for me, then I'm just going to be done with the series. So more to come on that, and I will talk through the first 2 books of that series in my wrap-up video that's coming next week. Next 2 books. Again, I had mentioned I'm trying to get away from reading only romance and being careful what I'm reading. So this one I saw talked about, I can't remember when this book came out, but I saw it talked about a lot. Wanted to read it, didn't read it. And it is Next Year in Havana by Chanel Cleaton, I think it's called. Cleaton. And I think this one sounds so fascinating. So it's got like a dual storyline of 1958 and 2017. And it's 1958, it tells the story of the daughter of a sugar baron who's part of Cuba's high society, and kind of when like Castro took over and all the revolution stuff that went on during the 50s. And then in 2017, it's the granddaughter of this woman who travels back to Havana, where she learns about her grandmother's life growing up and the story of her grandmother. And then it's kind of like, the dual storyline between the grandmother and the granddaughter. I think it sounds fascinating. Obviously, I got this from a used bookstore. It was part of the Reese's book club thingy. I think maybe it was part of like several book clubs. But it sounds really intriguing, and I'm looking forward to reading it. I do like books with dual storylines if they're done well. Another book on my TBR, if you notice a lot of physical books on my TBR, it's because I'm really trying to get away from the computer. So I like to bring a physical book when I'm out with the dog in the evening. So I'll let the dog run because I work all day. So I go out in the evening after dinner, put my chair out in the yard, and just let the dog run wild. And mommy reads a book is how I've been doing this. So that's why I have a lot of physical books, because I'm trying to get away from the computer. Anyway, so the next one is Where the Crawdads Sing. This one is by Delia Owens. You probably will recognize this because everybody was talking about this book when it first came out. It also has a movie coming out, and that's one of the reasons why I wanted to read the book, because I want to see the movie. The movie looks really good, but I haven't read the book yet, and I'm really funny about watching a movie for a book that I haven't read, because sometimes the movies do it well, sometimes they don't do it well. So I like to have read the book first so that I have a little bit of that background and don't have my expectation of the book ruined by the movie. So that is why I'm deciding to read the book. So I will not see the movie until I have read this book. So we'll see how it goes. My very last physical book is actually going to be starting the 100 series by Cass Morgan. If you are familiar with the TV show, I got the box set, so I have all 4 books of the series. I loved this TV show. I watched it diligently for like all the seasons it was on, and it ended finally, like, was it last year or the year prior? It ended recently. It was a very recent ending. It's on Netflix if you want to go back and read all the series, or watch all the series, I should say. So, but I haven't read the books. I know the books are different. Everybody's already warned me about this. They're like, the books are different than the series. So just prepare yourself. If you came in watching the TV series, it will not be the same. So I've already mentally prepared myself. But I do want to read the books because I'm sure this will give a little bit of a... I didn't care for the ending season. Let's put it this way. I did not like the last season of The 100. So I am really excited to see how the book ended. Instead, I'm opening my box. I can't get the book out. So there's 4 books, and the first one is obviously just called The 100. So it's the movie, or not the movie, but like the TV series covers, not the original covers. It's not a super long book. This is actually a young adult series. So you can see my calendar. You can see my microphone. I can't talk. So this is actually a young adult series. The writing's pretty big in these paperbacks, actually. So I think it should be pretty easy to read. It should be pretty quick to get through, honestly, because even though it's like a 300-page book-ish, The writing's big and there's not that many words on each page, so I think I can probably get through this pretty quickly. But I'm excited to read this. I've been waiting to read these books. I found these on sale actually on Amazon. I was able to get the whole box set, so I'm going to at least try to get the first book read, depending on how the month goes, because I have a lot of physical books on here. I may read the second one. We'll see, but I'm definitely reading the first one. And that is it. I don't have a lot of ebooks. I figure I'm going to try to get through my physical books because I do a lot of my reading when I'm out with the dog. If there's a few ebooks I throw in there, great, because I do like to read an ebook, like if I have doctor's appointments or if I'm waiting for Dad in his physical therapy, I'll bust out an ebook. So I'm sure there'll be a couple added to this list. But as far as like actual, I'm planning to read them, don't really have any ebooks on the list. I just have my physical books. So trying really hard to get off the computer. I have computer glasses. So if you ever see like blue or purple, see how it does, or like I look yellow under my eyes, that's the computer glasses. I'm having a lot of issues with my eyes just being dried out and like irritated. I think some of that's just summer allergies, but trying to get off the computer, so I have a lot of physical books. Okay, that is my TBR. What are you reading for the month of July? I would love to hear about it. Leave me some comments below. Let me know if you've read any of these books, what you thought of them. I would love to be able to chat about them in more detail later this month once I've read them. Okay, guys, I'll talk to you later. Bye.